What's up, everybody? This is Phoenix Metro Living, and today we're going to do a quick breakdown on how the weather really is in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's get right into it. So, as you know, a ton of people are moving to the Phoenix metro area. There's already a ton of people living here, and you'll always hear some people say that the weather 6 months out of the year it's 100 degrees. And then there's other people that say, oh, only 2 months out of the year it's hundreds and that's unbearable, but every 10 other months it's perfect. So I'm going to tell you what the weather is really like. So right now it's October 2019. The weather is in the mid 80s to high 80s as the daytime high. It starts out in the 50s at night and gradually rises throughout the day. So you have a few hours in the morning where it's like 60s, 70s before it even reaches the 80s. And in my opinion, the weather's really nice right now. You can get outside, do anything you want. You're not going to sweat real hard. You're not going to get dehydrated. So it's really nice weather in my opinion. But that's October. We just got through the summer months, which some people will say is only June to August, and other people will say is April to October, and other people say it's May through September. So to break it down, in my opinion, April is kind of like October. You get 80s, maybe sometimes 90s, but you're not really going to reach 100, and you're still going to have really nice nighttime lows. May is when it starts to heat up a little bit more. Mostly it's going to be in the 90s throughout the day, but the nights still cool down to 60s, 70s, so it's pretty nice in the morning, and at night you can pretty much still do anything you want. June is when it gets really hot. That's typically when you'll see the hottest day of the year. As you know, the record is 122 degrees, but that doesn't happen often. I think the highest recorded temperature this year was 115, and that happened once or twice. So it's not often that you're going to be into 115 and above, but June is definitely the time that you have the biggest chance to get way up in the triple digits. Nighttime in June still cools off a little bit more. So in my opinion, once the sun goes down or it's starting to go down, you still have pretty nice weather because, as you know, it's a dry heat. So when it's even 100 degrees out, 95 degrees out, it can feel really nice as long as the sun's not hitting you, in my opinion. Then you get to July, which that's when the monsoon season really starts, and that's when you get more humidity. The highs can range 105 to 110 for the most part. It really depends if you're going to have a monsoon or whatnot. If you have a monsoon coming that day, once that hits, it can really cool off, but it just depends if it hits or not. This year we had very little monsoon activity, so it stayed hotter than normal throughout the whole day. The nights still stay, you could be 10 o'clock at night, it'll be 90 plus degrees outside. So July, and then August is where it stays the hottest in my opinion. August, again, you're looking 105 to 110. A few days maybe where it's like 100 to 103, but somewhere in that range. And then at nights, if you're in Phoenix proper, some nights it only gets down to 90 degrees, so that's pretty warm. If you're out in the suburbs, you might see like high 70s, 79, 78 at night, or like 81, 82. So it can be pretty toasty, but again, it's pretty dry. Those months you do have a little more humidity due to the monsoon activity, but it's still, in my opinion, it's not unbearable. You can still get your activities done at night, so it's not too bad. And then you have September, which still hits the hundreds in the day, but at night you'll start seeing the 70s, and that's when you can really notice a cool down starting. That's when people start coming outside more. You'll see more activities happening, kids out playing on the street, all of that. So September is not too bad in my opinion. And then October is nice weather, in my opinion. And then November, you're looking at 70s, 60s for the highs. December, you're looking mostly at 60s for the highs, sometimes in the 50s, depending how the year is. Last year, there was a lot of like 50-degree days, but it was a cooler winter. January, the end of December into early January, you're looking at the coldest time of year, in my opinion. Some days, I believe last year, it didn't even reach 50. It was like 48, 49 degrees as the daytime high. So it can get pretty chilly, but it's pretty rare. Normally, you're looking around the 60s, low 60s to high 60s at that time of year. Occasionally, you'll get the nice 70s. And then at night, you're looking around in the 40s. Occasionally, you'll dip into the 30s, but that's pretty uncommon. And then occasionally, you'll get below freezing, which is really uncommon. There's only 2 to 3 days a year where that maybe happens. So, and overall, the winter months are pretty nice. Once you hit February, you're still looking 60s, 70s. And then March comes around, you're starting to get 70s, possibly 80s. And then April starts over again where you can get 80s, maybe 90s. But again, all those months are going to be cool at night. So it takes a while to warm up during the day. And then at night, you get a really nice night. So in my opinion, the worst months are definitely July and August, unless you get a lot of monsoon activity. If you get a lot of monsoon activity nightly, then you're going to be seeing temperatures cool down to low 70s, maybe even the high 60s if the rain does hit, which is a nice break, even though it is humid. But yeah, so overall, in my opinion, I would say Phoenix weather-wise is pretty good overall. I would say it's 3.5 to 4 months of really hot, almost intolerable weather. But if you do like the heat, you can definitely get through it. The rest 8 months are really nice for the most part, in my opinion. You'll only need maybe in the winter a light jacket, so it's not too bad. But it depends where you're coming from, if you like the heat or if you like the cold. If you like the cold, in my opinion, then Phoenix might not be for you, because in Phoenix, the 80s, low 90s are the nice weather days. So if that's considered hot from where you're coming from, it might be too hot for you, and you're going to be like, I don't get why people are saying the weather's so nice when it's 90 degrees. So it really just depends on your opinion and what you like. But if you're a fan of the heat, then you'll love it here. Even some people like myself, you can get through the summer. It's really not that bad, especially with the dry heat. You'll go outside during sunset, like I'll barbecue during sunset and 105 out, and it feels really comfortable. So again, it's really just how tolerable you are to heat. But if you like the cold, then I'd say you might not be a fan of Phoenix. If you're looking for 60 to 50s to say mid 60s as your daytime high, and that's comfortable for you, then Phoenix might not be for you, because you're only going to see 2, 3, maybe 4 months of that kind of weather. But if you do like the 80s, the 90s, and even the 100s, Phoenix is going to be perfect for you. So that's my video on the weather. This pretty much covered it all. Now you don't have to go around reading other people's opinions about, the 6 months of 100-degree straight weather, or it's only 2 months of unbearable weather. So now you know the full deal of how it is. Again, to recap, I'd say 3.5 to 4 months of pretty unbearable weather, unless you do like the 100 degrees. And then the rest of the year is pretty top notch, especially if you like 80s and 90s. So that's my video. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you could hit the like button, I'd appreciate that. If you want to subscribe, I'll be having more videos coming up soon regarding other topics in the Phoenix metro area. But other than that, appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.